Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Josh Horowitz, and today on Happy, Sad, Confused, we're live at the 92nd Street Y with Barry Keoghan, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out on a Saturday. I'm so thrilled you're all here to share in talking to this young man who is, I think, the most exciting actor of his generation right now. I'm just going to say it. Just to make sure he doesn't walk off, I need to say nice things. No, he knows I'm a fan of his. This guy is collecting great filmmakers like their trading cards. Let me just run off a few of the folks he's worked with. And this is just like the last 6-7 years. Yorgos Lanthimos, Christopher Nolan, Marta McDonagh, Chloe Zhao, Emerald Fennell, and now the great Andrea Arnold in this wonderful new film, Bird. He's making all the right moves, and I'm so thrilled to talk about this film and his wonderful career thus far. Give it up for Mr. Barry Keoghan, everybody. Come on, Barry! Barry! Come on out! There he is. We got 2 Barry Keoghans for the price of 1.
Look at those eyes.
Wait, do you get lost in your own eyes?
I do. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, everyone. Can't really see.
It's for the best.
Right, yeah.
They're all smiling, though. You should know that.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the new film, man. Bird is extraordinary. As I don't know if you heard me, but I was just talking about some of the filmmakers that you've been working with in recent years. What occurs to you when you hear that list together? Because this is kind of like any actor's dream to assemble that kind of folks to work with.
Yeah. When I heard that list, I'm like, I want to do it again. You know what I mean?
You can. It's okay.
I know. But you know the way certain filmmakers have relationships with people they've worked with, and they constantly, work with them again and wherever. I'm sort of hoping for that, but it hasn't happened yet, But yeah, well, with Bart Layton, actually, Crime 101, so, shout out to Bart Layton. But yeah, it's, I'm blessed, man. I've learned so much. I was never trained or done anything like that. So my whole education about film and that came through film. I mean, educated in different ways as well. Like, I kind of grew up with it. But yeah.
So I want to start by talking about Bird, which is this fantastic film from Andrea Arnold. It does occur to me before I talk specifically about Bird, of those filmmakers I just talked about, a bunch, thankfully, are female filmmakers. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but like that's sadly a disproportionate amount compared to what most actors work with. Has that been something? Do you gravitate towards a certain kind of energy?
I do, I was took into care, full-time care, when I was at least 10, 11. I need to get that age right, by the way. Like, what I mean?
Record, yeah.
My granny and that to be looking going, no, it wasn't that age. But I was took into care in around that time, and we had my granny and my granny's daughter, my auntie, and her daughter, so 3 really strong women that all moved into the same bedroom to give up their room for me and my brother. So I was raised by, I'd like to say I was raised by those 3 women, and, I learned my disciplines and my principles, and, to lift the toilet seat up, and, just stuff like that. Through that, this whole thing when people like, be a man and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is a man? Because like my granny was that, like a father figure and a mother figure for me, better than any man. So I learned my traits and my ways through her, and she's tough as nails, man. I mean, she had 10 kids, like, you know what I mean? Wow. Fucking tough. But yeah, so I do gravitate towards filmmakers, female filmmakers, because I find myself, and just getting a perspective, I find myself, the shoulders dropping a little, and I'm allowed to be a bit more vulnerable, and it's not really a conscious thing. It's just I find myself going to further places.
Is your granny still with us?
Yeah.
What does she make of? What's
the films?
Yeah, I mean, what percentage has she seen? Has she seen Saltburn? Has she?
Look, listen, she's seen it way before everyone when I was a toddler. Like, you know what I mean? So it's nothing new to her. But yeah, I remember seeing Killing of Sacred Deer, and she's like, "That's weird."
I mean, accurate. That's accurate.
Like, it is weird. Or like, you know, she'd, you know, pick up on other little things, and I'm like, but what about me? Like, you know. But you know, I remember them watching Dunkirk on the TV. They didn't go to the premiere, and they're like, "We watched your movie Dunkirk." I'm like, "Great, go see on the big screen."
just as Christopher Nolan wanted on your
exactly.
TV. Yeah.
But you know, there's a naivety and an innocence to it, and you know, a humbleness to it as well. You know, I'm still Barry. You know, still, you know, make your bed and you say please and say thank you, and you know, all these sort of kind of things I was thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the first times we chatted at length was during that whole Banshees run, which was fantastic. And I remember actually you mentioning Andrea Arnold.
Yeah.
Clearly that was about to
right?
happen soon. And you were very excited.
Yeah.
And most actors would be, because if you've seen Fish Tank, American Honey, any of her work, she elicits these amazing naturalistic performances. Yeah. Her approach is very, very unique.
It is. I didn't know what this movie was about until I seen it at Cannes. I was like, it's about a board though, all right? And I hadn't seen any boards in it. I was like, where the fuck does this board come in? So, you know, my name is Bug. Board eat me? I don't know. What happens?
But wait, to define it, is there a script?
There wasn't a script. Still never seen a script. But it's a credit to her, and like, you know, it contradicts that thing of, I got to read it first and see, does it relate? Right. Nah, you know, send me a log line, I'll do it. Like with Andrea Arnold, like, you know, and you got Chloe Zhao, and all of those filmmakers that follow that list as well. I have such confidence and belief in, you know, the stories they're trying to tell, and I'd sign on because I know it's going to impact me on a human level, but also elevate me as an actor, selfishly. But I remember meeting her in East London, and we were getting fish and chips, and you know, it was the most East London I've ever seen. East London, you know, it was just perfect. And she gave me like this sticky apple, you know. She's like, "Take this home." I was like, "Yeah," and like I was going back to Scotland on a plane. I had no bags. I just had this sticky apple. And going through the airport, and I'm like, "Sorry lads, I just got to put this through." And they were like, "You can just throw it out, or you could eat it now." I wanted to hold that apple because I believe in rituals and, you know, stones and stuff like that, until I got the part. You know, the apple rotted. I kept it. It smelled. I was like, just tell me if I got it so I could throw the fucking apple out. An apple a day, eh?
Yeah.
Just take my jacket off.
Please. Something that struck me in watching the movie wasn't even watching the movie, it was watching the credits to the movie. The credits of the movie run.
Look at that. You know,
amazing. Look at that. That's Granny's influence
Granny
right there. The credits on this movie have names with no assigned roles, and I feel like that speaks volumes. Is there a democracy on set? A little bit of like everybody is there as a contributor on equal footing?
Yeah, they were just like dragging people in. I mean, they weren't really. I think it was, you know, she has this ability, and I'll say this, you know, she cares so much for the people that's working for her and puts them ahead of herself. You know, she looked after me so much, and I lived with her for like 2 weeks. I always do that. I live with people I film with. It's crazy.
All right, Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah. And always eat their food. You know, she used to make me sausage sandwiches, and I loved it, you know what I mean? I think that's why I stuck around. But she looked after me and, you know, wanted me to feel comfortable and just cared about my well-being and, you know, and all these things, because it was a process we were going to get into. And I told her, I was like, look, listen, we're breaking, like, you know, walls here in the sense of, you know, I'm signing on because I want this new adventure and this new approach, and to be dropped in with non-actors and to search and discover and, you know, instincts and we kind of knew it was going to be a bit of a process. So I lived with her, and she looked after me, and she's just, you know, you forget the camera's there. You really do. There's no after action and cut. You know, everyone's scrambling back to their trailers. That like we don't have trailers. You know, so which is great because it keeps that consistency of that flow. You know, that finding it. And again, the community, everyone accepted her, and it's just this ability of getting this trust from people and making them feel safe, you know, and making them feel like they can be open to putting a camera on them. And so yeah, it was gorgeous.
We're going to show a clip for the folks that haven't seen the film yet, but do the circumstances of this resonate with you on any level to your own childhood? Not the specifics, but broadly speaking, do you feel some touchstone, some connection with the characters in this to your own upbringing?
Yeah, I used to play with bugs a lot. No, I didn't. I hate spiders, by the way. But in terms with me and Bug, yeah, I mean, I think we all see Bug. You know, we see people in Bug, and that's why we relate. And you know, because I see my uncle in him. I see everyone in him. Like this selfishness that's no bad intention. Or like you know, it's just wrapped up in your own what I want, what I need, and there is an innocence to it. But yeah, I definitely did. I seen myself in him. You know, I seen a lot of myself in him, and that's what I'm saying. It was a learning curve, and it was a therapeutic kind of process of, you know, going, shit, I'm a selfish fucking, I really am. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I love. Like, I love working with really strong filmmakers because you get to learn about yourself on so many levels and also elevate as an actor. And
and nothing keeps you probably more honest than young performers.
Exactly.
And the young actress.
And yeah, being around Nakoya and, you know, Jason, and I'm fascinated just observing them and like why they made that choice, or, you know, what got them to that level, and not to ask them, not to make them feel pressured, but, you know, I'm so interested in authenticity and, you know, just kind of choices from the gut, because that's where I started and that's where I came from. And if anything, I want to help protect that for them and nurture it, you know, and not let them go and make choices out of pressure or, you know, these other reasons, to just kind of be there for them.
All right, we're going to give them a little taste of it. This is actually very much the opening of the film, the introduction to your character and his, I believe, 12-year-old daughter. Yeah. Here's a sneak peek at Bird.
Baby! Let's go, I'm done. Let's go home.
What?
I've got a surprise for you at home.
What is it?
It's a surprise. Yeah. Take this. Be careful with that. It's my cash cow, yeah? It's not an actual cow, but you know. Let's go. Let's go.
So, harder to get all those tattoos done or go through the prosthetics for Joker? Which would you rather do? When you're,
you know, I've got ADHD. I don't know if anyone knows. It's all over the fucking internet. I move so much, and I actually take medication for it. But it's to sit still for that long is really hard for anyone, but especially for someone with ADHD. So we had to break it up. And it was, the hard thing was staying out of the sun because it was in the summer, and then the sun catching the tattoos and then leaving sun marks around you. So even when you took the scorpion off, you'd have a scorpion on your face. And people be like, or like the cross. You know, you'd be at the gym and it'd be like a cross. And they'd be like, this fucking dude is...
Something went wrong.
You know what I mean? Is this Satan? Sitting in the sauna going, hey lads, fake tattoo, sorry. And like there's no tattoo, it's just like a white mark with a cross. You know, evil spirit.
I was going to say, this guy really wronged somebody in another life.
When you start like praying in the sauna, it gets weird then.
There's, for a film that's so improvisational, there's a fair amount of like songs that are recognizable. Do you have to clear those in advance, like Coldplay and Blur? Like, how does that work?
I know where you're going with this. But, you know, I know what you do. You do have to clear them, and yeah, you've got to listen to them a lot. And you know, I'm a big fan of all the songs in it, and Lucky Man is one of my favorite songs. You know, it's a very dad song, but it's also a song that I actually don't believe in luck, ironically, and it's one of my favorite songs. I like to call it the Unlucky Man. But yeah, you got you know, Andrea had a playlist, but I tend to stay away from all of that. You know, if someone's like, listen to this, listen, like I don't want to be.
Want to find it your own way, or
yeah, like even mood boards and stuff like that. I want to kind of find. I want to see what my vision is and what I bring to it. But yeah, it is a guidance. Yeah.
what about? I've heard you say, obviously you've done some dancing in film, dance again in this one. That you don't fancy yourself a dancer.
No.
So what's going on? Why is the world wants you to dance, Barry? Apparently.
It's crazy that, and then man, that went everywhere. Wow. It really did. That will never leave me. It plays in my head 24/7, you know.
What is your relationship to?
But no, listen. Are you on about dancing in
this one?
in this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, you know, the effort of dancing. I've said this before, but like the effort of watching someone trying to dance or someone trying to sing is very attractive for me. I'm like rooting for them, and I'm like just in awe of them. Just to say that if you can sing, it's not attractive. It's very attractive if you can sing as well. Just want to say that.
Noted. Okay.
You know, but
I'm on your side, Barry. It's
you
okay.
know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if you can't sing, it's also very attractive if you're trying to sing.
Right.
I don't know whether people look at me if I'm trying to sing, oh, that's attractive. I just think it's attractive on film when someone's trying to learn to dance, or, you know, for the wedding, and you're like, God bless his soul, like he's getting that step so wrong, but his heart is in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we left space open to learn these steps and sort of kind of be off a little.
Is the next step full-on singing, dancing musical? Would you want to do like a
I
traditional?
love La La Land, you know? I do.
It's the best.
You know, I watched it with someone recently, and I was just like, oh, can we watch it again? You know?
It's so good.
I loved it. I love Damien Chazelle, but like, you know, what they'd done in that movie was just so subtle, but like, you know, it made you look at LA in a different way and made me fall in love with it a little bit more, and, you know, that romantic attachment you have to it.
The best musicals end sadly. I'm sorry.
And weirdly, I was like quoting Ryan Gosling before I even seen it. I was like, I've said this.
Oh, so this was your first time seeing it recently? You hadn't seen it?
I'd seen it before, like when it came out, but like couldn't really.
So what have you been quoting inadvertently from Ryan Gosling?
There was a. He said something like, I know these things.
Right.
And I've said that a lot. Doesn't mean that I've always knew these things or they've always been right, but like I've said it, I've threw it out there, like I know these things. And when I said it like when I was watching it and I turned and said it, I was like, I've said this to you. Crazy.
We're going to hit some greatest hits on your relatively young but amazing career. We've talked, I want to talk again about Killing of a Sacred Deer, because Yorgos is a master.
That's a weird film.
It is a,
Quote my nanny.
Quote
my
from,
granny.
yes, exactly. Credit where credit's due. But that must be a moment, I mean, what do you recall of being on set? Do you recall of kind of like, I don't know, achieving a kind of comfort zone? You're opposite Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. You're being directed by Yorgos.
It's crazy.
Did you feel like I can hold my own? Did you have imposter syndrome? What was your sense on the set of that one?
You know, like never imposter syndrome, ever. Like I do get starstruck, and I do, like still to this day, if like I'm in awe of someone, I'm like, oh my God, massive fan. Sorry I can't talk. Sorry my eyes are twitching right now. And they're like, calm down, bro, it's cool.
Any examples?
There's many. I'm not gonna embarrass but like everyone I meet. But you know, it was sort of like that, but minutes after it, you just realize you're there on a collaborative experience, same as Colin, Nicole. And I didn't know the weight of working with Yorgos. Like, you know, who's such a genius. And again, he's another person that I would sign on without even reading a log line. And he's such a carer. He cares so much. But I didn't understand, like, you know, he's like the modern day Kubrick to me. You know, he's just a genius.
Is one of the lessons of that, because when I think of that, it's like, and a lot of the performances in a lot of his films is like, he strips so much away. He like, has the actors strip it down.
Yeah.
And it's almost banal seemingly, and yet it's so powerful. Like, and you know, the tendency can be like, more. I want to get more and more.
I remember watching The Lobster, like, not even missing 10 times almost, you know, and it's one of those movies I'm like, oh, have you not seen The Lobster? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, we have to watch it. Even if I watched it the night before with someone else. But I was just fascinated with the worlds he created and made them so, you know, you just visioned more going on outside of it. So yeah, I was very grateful for that, and you know, I got to be weird, and you know, and all my little isms come in, and people love it.
So good.
You know?
On the flip side, and again, this is the story of your career. We go from one extreme to the other, and your character in Dunkirk couldn't be a different kind of a character. And again, the company of actors and in close proximity, you're on that boat essentially with Mark Rylance and Cillian, who you just worked with again, I know. Mm-hmm. Again, what do you remember taking away from those two actors?
I was like, is this boat getting smaller? It's getting smaller. It was like shrinking, you know, as the weeks went on. I was like, we were just spending too much time together, everyone. But that was Chris Nolan. Like, you know, he looks at his monitor, no one else sees it, and it's like a Nintendo DS. It's like, it's not even high tech, and you're like, he's like, yeah, we got it. I'm like, you got it? You should, like, you know, these are planes flying over. You don't need to see this on a clearer screen. He's just such a visionary, and he's like knows what he wants, and it was just an absolute joy to be around, and I'm working with Cillian, who I love, and you know, getting to have the crack with Cillian, and Chris be like, all right, enough, let's go. You know what I mean? We'd be laughing away and talking about ridiculous stuff, and he's like, all right, enough of this now, let's. But again, you know, just. Again, you get perspective when you step away from these things, and you know, when you're in it, you just you forget it.
You have this amazing history also of manifesting several things in your career. The first one I want to bring up is, I think it was back in 2013. You tweeted at Stan Lee, "Make me a superhero."
I did.
And then you end up in the Eternals.
I did.
So that's crazy. Let's just put that out there.
That's some superhero shit going on there.
Did you ever meet Stan? I don't know what the time was.
I didn't. I would have loved to. I heard he was such a legend. But again, you know, I remember tweeting that, and I don't know what I'd watch, but I'd always try to tweak stuff to manifest it, and I have a little notebook, and you know, I've manifested some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? The universe doesn't know about, oh, this is good or this is bad. It just goes, oh, this is what you've been thinking. Boom. It's like, oh shit.
Here's a wrinkle I didn't even realize in our past conversations related to the superhero thing. So then in 2015, you shot a short film playing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if people know this. This is on YouTube. You can watch this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a good audition / short film. Were you putting it out there? Was that when they were casting the new Spider-Man? Like, what was up with that?
I think so. I think that's what happened. They were casting new Spider-Man, and again, let me just get this straight. No one beats Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Honestly. But yeah, I found a little Spider-Man costume in a pound shop. Remember, like, you know, going out to film that, and my granny going, where are you going with that? I was like, I'm making a short movie, you know? Could be Spider-Man. Gotcha. Gotcha. She's like, just go. But yeah, I just always made short films, or I'd done it for Chloe Zhao with the Eternals. I went into, like, you know, some sort of green area and made it look like the Amazon and that habitat. I'd done it with Dunkirk. I pretended to load a gun, which was a remote with batteries. Sure. It wasn't a scene from the movie, by the way, but that's what they wanted. And I was like loading this remote, you know, off frame, making it look like a gun. I've done it with a few things.
Yeah, you did. I mean, we talked about you did the Riddler, and you ended up with Joker. I mean, that was fun. I mean,
exactly. That wasn't even an audition. I just done it, and it's just using your mind and your imagination, and it can go completely the opposite way though, because they can be like, "This is not what I want. You're so far away from it.
Right.
Don't send that again." You know what? Block. Yeah.
Is that what happened on Spider-Man? Did you get a real audition or no?
Yeah, I didn't. So yeah, maybe.
And what, I mean, compare that to where you are now, where I imagine you probably don't have to audition.
It's not even that I don't have to. It's like I enjoy the process of it. I enjoy the process of, getting a group together. And the difference with now and then is I know a lot more people and with a lot more cooler cameras. And,
you've upped the production value,
and gadgets. So the tapes look even better.
Hey, Chris Nolan, can you film my...
You know what I mean? It's it's just a process of getting everyone together. And, when you get everyone together, like, again, it's like being in the bubble of film, and everyone is there, and everyone has probably suffered the same stuff that, like, I've kind of suffered, where it's like made being feel weird, or like this is not a real job. So we all share that thing in common of like, we're here to make something that we all vision and be silly, and you know what I mean? So it's always good when you get a group together, even to make a little tape. Like, time is, you don't even count time, and it's just pure enjoyment.
We were on a tangent. I was talking about Stan Lee, and I just want to finish, put the bow on Eternals, because I feel like justice for Eternals. What happened to that crew? Marvel has not utilized the Eternals since. I can say that. You're not allowed to say that, but I'll say that on your behalf.
Yeah.
Do you still have any hope of playing that character again, or do you feel like...
You know what? Everyone, like, again, getting to work with Chloe, and I was like, I seen the writer, and I was like, oh, I want to work with Chloe, and the next thing was the Eternals, and again, they're making like these massive movies, and with these incredible fucking actors, and so yeah, I wanted to be part of it. I remember reading it and being like, yeah, I want to be part of this, and I want to, chatting to Chloe, getting to bring this sort of composed, I think she mentioned Anakin Skywalker, like this sort of like, very reserved and wolf mentality of just moving smoothly, and it was really, really, it was a part I've never done, you know what I mean? And she made it so realistic in this world. But yeah, Droog was fucking great, man. You know what I mean? I was like, why are you making my eyes go? Like, leave them blue. That's the power.
Save some money on
let me
visual
look
effects.
At you.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let me talk.
I didn't hear necessarily an answer on your hope for the future, but I'm going to guess.
The Irish accent is powerful, by the way. I'm just going to say, Irish accent is powerful. Like the Irish accent, it's powerful. It's like, you don't realize until you hear your fellow Irish people chat on film, and you're like, that's a gorgeous language.
Would you rather act in your own accent or another?
Hysterical.
Would you rather act in your own accent or adopt another accent for a role? Do you find it freeing sometimes?
Another accent, yeah. But, there is, like, Bored is my own accent, and, I'm not going to give away what's coming up, but, yeah, I don't have my own accent for a bit, sorry.
What's your favorite other voice you've assumed in a role? What pleased you?
See, I'm going to give it away if I say it, because I haven't shown it yet.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Is it the Trey Edward Schultz film, what? Or the Trey Edward Schultz movie, or something you've shot?
No, I haven't shot it yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Collective. Ooh.
Ooh, what's that?
Okay. What the?
But, it's hard to do an Irish accent. Like in Banshees, I struggled with that.
Well, let's talk about Banshees. Okay, so how did that character read on the page? What was the tough part about playing Dominic?
Man,
poor sweet Dominic.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, honestly, just a little pure soul.
I know. She could have just said yes to him, made him happy.
But then it would have been something else, or whatever. But that was a joy with Martin McDonagh. I mean, I remember meeting Martin at a Fox party and him being like, I have this part for you. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I watched Love Hate. I'm like, Love Hate? I'm like, when did you see that? Like, you know, I don't picture my performance in Love Hate being in his sort of world, if you get what I'm saying. And he wrote this part for me. And I remember Colin going, yeah, Martin wrote this part for you. I was like, well, send it. You know what I mean? I'll do a short film for it.
Exactly. Granny, get the camera out.
Or whatever. But he sent it, and it was just beautiful. It was gorgeous, and, you know, I wanted to make him, you know, sort of... I watched Eating Gilbert Grape. I watched a few of these movies where, you know, just these characters were so pure, and... but yeah, his writing, that whole shoot, you know, it was in Ireland that I'd not seen even, like, you know, I'm like, fucking rainbows and leprechauns everywhere, and I think I seen a unicorn at one stage.
Yeah.
I know. But it was like, you know, so magical, and it's just beautiful. I remember there was a rainbow, and Colin's like, get the rainbow, and Colin ran over to the rainbow, shoot the rainbow. It was like, you know, they were just popping up everywhere. Yeah. But again, it was a chance to show range.
Yeah.
I think prior to that, or coming out after that was Saltburn, and I was going to sign on to that. And I knew that I needed something sort of innocent.
Yeah, staring those two scripts, you're like,
you know what I mean?
This will prove.
Same with Dunkirk and Sacred Deer. I wanted something to contrast completely different. And, you know, selfishly as an actor, that's what you want to do.
Let's remind folks with one more clip, at least, Banshees, because Oscar-nominated, amazing performance. Let's take a look at Banshees of Inisherin.
I'm glad I caught you, actually, because there was something I was wanting to ask you, actually, and discovering how much we have in common, well, just makes me want to ask you even more.
We don't have anything in common.
Don't skip ahead. Yeah, what I was wanting to ask you was something along the lines of, should have planned this, really. But yeah, what I was wanting to ask you was, you probably wouldn't ever want to, I don't know, to fall in love with a boy like me, would you?
Oh, Dominic, I don't think so, love.
Oh yeah, no, I was thinking no. Not even in the future, like when I'm your age. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Just thought I'd ask in the off chance, you know, like faint heart and that. Oh, there goes that dream. Well, I best go over there and do whatever that thing over there I was going to do was.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreaking. Harry is so good, man. Like, honestly, to hold a straight face while I'm like doing the antiques and, you know. But again, that was my last day shooting. I was like, all right, see yous. Catch a Ryanair flight.
Yeah, there goes that dream. Bye.
I need to catch this plane. Let's do it. But yeah, that was that was probably, if not one of the best shoots.
Yeah.
You know, these are moments in your life, and I always say, this is why I don't sign on to anything. I don't feel a pressure to give myself away, and also, like, I feel sometimes I sell myself a little in a weird way of, you know, lending out all of them emotions and accessing places to create or bring forward a raw, you know, state. And it's like, sometimes I don't want to do that because you burn yourself out. You chip away something that you've not even discovered about yourself. You know, and you go home, you have to sit with that in the hotel or wherever you may be, and kind of you feel a bit, I don't know.
No, I get it. And it actually brings me to Saltburn, which is such an amazing performance. And when I think of it, what you don't anticipate, obviously, making something like that is like the memification.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Like now I do.
Now you do.
Now I'm like, this is gonna be a meme. Or a TikTok.
Which kind of sucks, because you don't want to do a role and enter a scene
that's
thinking
where
like...
we're at, though. That's where we're at. It's a shame, honestly. It's a fucking shame.
So like when you're in that and you're trusting, and there's a lot of trust there, obviously, for a script like that.
I can't look at a bathtub the same way. I have to get in it and put my face to
graves.
Graves. They keep me away from them.
Just ornate houses that you might want to dance through.
Mansions. Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, talk to me a little bit about the trust that is needed to go to those kind of places for someone like Emerald. Like, are you a trust? Because I've heard you say in another interview, you're actually not necessarily a trusting person sometimes. So
I'm not.
You clearly did on that shoot.
I've got massive trust issues. Honestly, like and it's only evident where it comes from. But you know, it's when you do connect with a filmmaker and like Emerald, who's fucking great, and I remember meeting her and her were telling me being so excited, and I was like, yeah, and she's like, yeah, I want you to do this, and she was telling me that she had Jacob in mind, and I was like, great. It just took a lot. Like, it took a lot for me to think about, you know, because on paper you're like, this is a role of a lifetime. You go from this journey to that. But I was like, I'm gonna show so much of myself, literally. That wasn't even written into it, actually. So I had clothes on, dancing around in the script. But I'm gonna show so much of myself and stamina, you know. And Brando was on the way, so there was a lot going on, and I'd never had a lead role, like, so I was like, you know, there was a stamina that was going to be required, but I was up for it. Yeah, I was.
I mean, you kill it. It's an amazing performance, man. Although Murder on the Dance Floor must be ruined for you forever. It's that
I was like, this song, man. You know.
Do people like try to engage with
you? When it comes on, I'm just like, hey.
I would imagine that happens. You're in a bar, does somebody be like, he's gonna love this?
When you see how he acts when we play this, watch, he spazzes out. Like, wait. Hey, turn it off.
I want to talk about an all too brief but wonderful performance in The Batman as Joker.
Oh, thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about, I mean, the weight of that performance, the lineage of that.
Yeah.
2 actors have won Oscars for playing that character. Mm-hmm. It is one of those roles.
Again, you know, it's iconic, and the people before me have, you know, it's just iconic performances, and it's just it's a big one. But I am gonna say that, you know, if the opportunity came about, yes, I'd love to explore and given that opportunity, really dive into it. But I've not been contacted, and I've not, you know, heard anything, so I can't. Yeah.
It's all good. I'm not going to press you on the future.
Thank you.
But no, it's all good. I get it.
But a great time, you know, and Matt and Dylan, and absolute amazing time, and what a you know, what an opportunity to do that, and with Rob as well, who I love.
The funny thing about a role like that, right, is like, even though it's a small role at the time, you probably put in a ton of work, and like, I mean, did you have like the backstory, the origin for your Joker in place? Like, do you know in your head?
Yeah, I did, and also, you know, just in terms of like even the makeup process, you said like Mike Marino, and who's done the Penguin.
Yeah.
He's, you know, that was a lot of talk and a lot of staying still, because ADHD kicks in, and like it's 6 hours of, you know, stuff, and yeah, I'm incredibly blessed. But again, all I can say is, you know, if the opportunity came about, yes, I'd love to explore it. But
have you had a chance to watch The Penguin? You're a busy guy, but
I'm busy, man. I'm busy. I've yet to send Colin. It's the last episode tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send Colin my big message review, and I gotta actually reach out to Colin.
Want to do it right now?
Yeah. Yo, Colin.
Thinking of you.
What was gonna say, but yeah, just transitioning from that onto another topic. What were you gonna say, Josh?
I was gonna say Peaky Blinders.
Oh yeah.
So we're very excited. You have joined the Peaky Blinders world. There's a film of Peaky Blinders being made, added to the mix. This young man, Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah.
Tim Roth, do I have that right?
Tim Roth, Killian, obviously.
Obviously. Were you a fan? Did you pursue this one? How did this one come about?
Massive fan. And again, I'm treading because Killian will be like, you know, just like zip. Because I tend to give things away, like, you know, sometimes.
That's why I like talking to you.
Yeah. You know, like, you lead me to saying, like, I had a great time because, like, oh, wait, what'd I say? But yeah, being a massive fan of the show, and I can say this, that this movie is going to be... Someone asked me before, they were like, you signed on the Peaky Blinders, have you read the script? I was like, yeah, that's why I've signed on. But then, now I'm thinking...
Now the Andrea Arnold thing we just talked about.
Maybe they seen that, so yeah. Sorry, I was trying to make fun of that. Now it's just backfired. But yeah, I read the script, and... It's epic. It's so fucking epic, and it's nice to be. I hadn't done anything in a year, you know. No movies in a year.
You were in a music video. That's important.
I was. Best thing I ever shot. Honestly. But no. Yeah, and that was the first time I was back on set as well. It was the music video in a while, but it was so nice to be on set again.
Yeah.
And you know, just be a pro, and you know,
No, the level of everybody on that set.
everyone getting to see me work, and that's sort of like you getting to see someone in their zone, and vice versa. You know, it's like, yo, attention. Oh, sorry, I'm distracted.
Yeah, amazing talent around me.
But but I hadn't been on a movie in a year.
Yeah.
And it's so great to have that creative process again. And I feel like I'm really in a place now where I can constructively go to certain places, you know, because I've been doing a lot of therapy and working on myself, and I'm really feeling, you know, confident, and so I can access these places and put them to bed, and constructively, you know, just
not be tough on yourself, hopefully.
Yeah,
put yourself,
you know, not just rush it to the surface and be like, what do I do with this?
Right.
You know, sort of go back and pick little things, and not everyone has to do that, by the way. Some people can just act. You know, why don't you just act, Barry? You know, but instead I love to get to the emotional state, and it's not always depressing and wherever. You don't need to do that if you're feeling happy. A song can get you there, but I do like to really get to that place and you know, sort of bring that forward, because truth is something that you can't really, you know, fake.
And if we've learned anything, it's like we couldn't talk about filmmakers and approaches more different than Martin McDonagh and Chloe and Andrea, and it's like there's no one path, but the important thing is to get to the truth somehow, right?
It is.
I want to give the audience a little love with a couple questions they submitted. Here's one. Elijah wants to know if you have a dream director you want to work with. Who are you manifesting now? Who's the next?
Barry Jenkins.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I love Barry Jenkins. Also, I mean, you know, there's lots. Baz Luhrmann. There's a list. I can pull the list out for you if you want.
Yeah, let's hear it. Karen would like to know, when can we see a boxing movie? Boxing's
working on it.
Yeah?
Is Karen here?
Of course she's here.
Oh, working on it, Karen. It's called The Cutman. So far, it's called The Cutman. But it's basically sort of in the vein of like After Sun, you know, which I love with Paul Mescal and that. It's you know, it's based on a relationship between me and my little sister, and you know, kind of a troubled mother going through some stuff, and he's becoming almost on the verge of a massive amount of fame through boxing, and he's trying to, you know, have a connection with his sister and fight to get her full custody because the mother isn't able to look after her, and it's a conflict of going back and forth and fighting for that intimacy, that privacy, and you know, of course, it's sort of similar to what I'm going through and what I have went through. You know, trying to have intimacy with your little one, or it's you have to fight for that.
Yeah. Caroline would like to know, if you could play a part in any movie already made, what would it be? Is there like a classic movie, and you, I mean, in your heart of hearts, I would have loved to crack at that.
I'd hate to do, like, you know, I don't want to do remakes.
Right.
I'm like, leave it. Do you know, but Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman, you know, that's my favorite film ever. It's like one of those movies that you watch when you're down and you're like, yeah.
So you were talking, you were referencing kind of like, again, even since we've started talking the last few years, your life has changed a lot. You were so in the center of the public eye.
Yeah.
That's tough for anybody. And I'm just curious, like, how are you negotiating that? Like, what are you finding?
I've got a really strong team around me. People I massively care about, and they massively care about me, and they're at everything. I've got a right-hand man who doesn't leave my side. He's outside, you know, literally. He comes everywhere with me, and it's he's responsible for a lot of stuff. But I'm just strong on myself, you know. And when you make a decision to step up and rise up to it, and you know, get on with it, and understand that you need to do stuff like therapy to grow and to be honest with yourself about certain things, that's when you grow. When you're kind of like making excuses for stuff and you're not getting anywhere. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm starting to enjoy life as it is, and having a lovely relationship with my little boy. You know, and getting to see him grow gives me such love and, you know, hope. And, you know, he's starting to talk now and give back chat. But the puppy eyes, man, I mean, when they look at you, you're like, oh, okay, here's chocolate. I'll eat it with you.
Did he get married?
He loves cars, you know, Cars is his thing.
The movie or just Cars generally?
McQueen.
Oh, yeah.
Cars.
Lightning McQueen?
Yeah.
You need to do a Pixar movie for him.
I know, I really do.
What about SNL? Have you contemplated being in that?
Again, I'm really shy. Like, this is because the lights are helping. Like, it's just me and you and the front row and Karen. But you know, it's I've done stage in school, but I hate like performing. You know, when the camera goes up, there's this like license to go. You can be silly, you can be sad, vulnerable. As soon as that goes, I'm like, you know, even tech rehearsal, when they're like, okay, everyone in tech rehearsal, I'm like, hey, can we not?
Right.
You know, they're like, but they need it for their department. I understand that, but like, I'm really shy. And they're like, you're shy? I'm like, yeah, I'm shy. So there's ways of working around it, but SNL is a performance, and it's a... Well, I done Seth Meyers the other day.
First late night talk show. I was saying to you, I'm shocked.
Yeah,
finally.
I look back and I was like, God, that kid has ADHD. I couldn't stop moving. Someone said, he looks like the kind of kid who shits his pants and laughs. I was like, you know what, credit, that's a great comment. I even liked it.
You're more right than you know.
But again, you know, I'm owning that. I've got ADHD. I'm owning all these things. I'm working with it, and it's like...
well, that's the thing. It's like you get to this place, the kind of stuff any actor would dream of, like the opportunities you have, having a young child. Like this is
exactly,
the life.
and I get to show
want to enjoy
kids, you know, who look up, and kids who are curious about getting into this industry or even anything that relates to it, and it gives them hope. Like, if he can do it, ADHD boy or whatever. It's like, you know, or where I've come from, and that's all I want to do. Like, I like to use a platform for that reason, and for younger kids to have a bit of confidence and a bit of be optimistic and not let backgrounds or what they've went through hold them back. And you know, I'm working really hard to set up some things at home in the UK as well, and helping these kids.
Amazing. Okay, we're going to end finally with the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions, some rapid fire
Good.
for you. Dogs or cats, Barry? Dogs.
Dogs.
Okay.
Though I get called a cat.
You get called a cat.
Yeah, people say I look like a cat.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Better than being called a dog.
You know what I mean? I think it's because when I move my head, like, no, don't do that to everyone, by the way. But when I'm looking for a head scratch.
Sure, I get it. We'll scratch you when you get in the back. Don't worry. Do you collect anything? What do you collect?
Yeah, I used to like collect. I love stones. I love, you know, I'm into my stones, my rose quartz and stuff like that, and so yeah, I collect things like that.
What's the wallpaper on your phone?
Oh yeah, Hopefully I have no meshes on it.
Vet it first. Make sure it's suitable for public.
Brando.
I can attest. Very cute. There you go.
I'm like, wow, he's gorgeous. He's like posing in that. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, those eyes. Oh, I get it.
Oh, wait. Somehow you ended up, I get you. Okay. Worst noted director has ever given you?
Do you know what? I'm not going to say anything because I think everyone is worded. Like, I don't... Everything anyone's ever said to me has always been...
Meant in the nicest possible way? Nothing went the
maybe like learn your lines. Like, I'm like, okay.
There are no lines to learn, Andrea.
I just don't think... I need to read a script. But yeah.
Okay, in the spirit of happy second fuse, who's an actor that always makes you happy? You see them on screen, you're happy.
Wow, that's a good question. Makes me happy or makes me like...
Well, it doesn't need to be like song and dance, but you can appreciate them. You're in for a good time. This is going to be fun.
Oh man, I have so many I want to work with, so I'm like, what do I say?
Use your shot. You can say a few.
This is it. This is it.
I'm manifesting for you. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis and, yeah, Christian Bale.
All right, okay.
You know,
that works.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy.
That's already happening. That's a waste of one.
No, but like, you know, in case he watches this and then I'll go back,
I get it.
Never mention me.
I get it.
He wouldn't say that, would he?
Movie that makes you sad? What gets you?
Makes me sad.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Gosling, by the way. Sorry, I'm still in that question.
Well, that's good. There are a few. Oh yeah, well, I was going to say Blue Valentine,
yeah.
La La Land are two.
I mean, The Notebook.
Notebook, yeah.
You know, Basketball Diaries makes me very sad.
Yeah. And you answered this for me once before. Let's see if it matches. The food that makes you confused. Is it still drum roll?
Oh, makes me aubergine. Did I say? Yeah.
Yeah. Still negative
like
on the
texture.
eggplant.
Ugh.
Okay.
Like, what is the point in this?
Okay.
It's just an emoji. Literally.
Okay. We've got a tray
eating an emoji.
We've got a tray of eggplant and in the back for
Eggplant, you call it, eh?
Yeah, we call it eggplant.
And yams. What's yams? Sweet potato?
No. Yeah, something in the family.
Sweet potato sounds nicer.
Yeah.
Yams. So American, yams.
All right, don't eat your yams, but go see Bird, everybody.
Yeah.
Support good work. Barry, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for indulging me. And we'll talk soon. Peaky Blinders, a lot more to come. Congratulations on everything, man. Thanks as always.
Thank you, everyone.